Hello, my friend. Today, you're going to learn what a nervous system imprint is, how those imprints quietly shape every relationship that you have, and how you can re-imprint yourself with a different pattern that nourishes love, connection, and the life that you truly desire. I'm Dr. Serafina Ancala, and I've spent nearly a decade immersed in the art and science of personal and relationship transformation. I've healed my body from a lifetime of chronic illness, redesigned my relationships from the inside out, and built a life that feels amazing to live. The tools I'm sharing with you here today are the exact same ones I used to create that transformation. And I've guided hundreds of clients through this same process, helping them rewire their nervous systems, create conscious relationships, and experience deep and lasting change. Have you ever found yourself feeling stuck in your life saying, "Oh God, why am I here again?" Maybe you keep dating the same kind of person, the one who doesn't listen or who pulls away right when you start to get close. Or maybe you keep having the same arguments with your partner over and over, even though you swore it would be different this time. Or maybe it's not even about romance at all. Maybe it's family drama that never seems to end, or friendships that feel one-sided, or work relationships where you always end up playing the peacekeeper. If any of that sounds familiar, you are not broken and you're not alone. You're just running old imprints, and once you understand what an imprint is, you can change it. So, what's an imprint? An imprint is like a blueprint your nervous system created early on. It's how your body learned what love feels like, what safety feels like, what conflict feels like, and what it takes to belong. You didn't consciously choose your imprints. In fact, you've probably never even questioned them because they were installed deep in your subconscious through repeated experiences, like watching your parents interact, being treated a certain way as a child, and absorbing how emotions were handled in your home. Those imprints became your default relationship blueprint. And unless you question those blueprints, you'll keep repeating the same relationship dynamics over and over. Not because you want to, but because your nervous system thinks that this is what love is supposed to feel like. So I'm going to tell you a really weird story about soup that changed the way that I relate to love itself. Yeah, soup. So growing up, my mom made soup 2 or 3 times a week. And I say soup in quotes because here's what it really was. Canned beef that smelled like dog food, mushy, tasteless canned green beans, canned corn, canned peas, and some kidney beans, and a dash of dried basil. She'd add water to make it go further, heat it all up, and voila, there we were, soup night. My mom loved it because it was cheap, easy, and practical. But for me, I dreaded soup night. There were many nights that I considered going hungry instead of eating soup again. When I was old enough to buy my own food, I swore I would never eat soup again. So fast forward, I moved to New York when I was 22, and I met a man named Frank who owned a restaurant with a brilliant Haitian French chef named Pierre. One snowy afternoon, I went to go see Frank, and he said, "Hey, let's have some of Pierre's soup. It'll warm you up." When he said the word soup, all I could think about was my mom's soup. And without even thinking, I immediately said, "No thanks, I'll just have a sandwich." When our food came, I looked at Frank's steaming bowl of Haitian lobster bisque, and I instantly regretted my decision. I asked him for a bite, and oh my goodness, it was pure heaven. It was creamy and spicy and full of flavor. I'd never had anything like it before. I told Frank about my experience with soup growing up, and I shared that I had no idea that soup like this existed. Frank laughed and he brought me back into the kitchen and had me taste all the soups Pierre had made. Lobster bisque, tomato basil, Mediterranean chicken, lentil, black bean. It was like a whole new world opened up for me. And from that day forward, I became obsessed with exploring and making soups that delighted me. Soup became one of my favorite foods. And here's the interesting thing. My sister, she still makes that exact same soup that my mom made. She has never considered making something different. When we go to her house for dinner, everyone just eats it, kind of like cringing, because that's what our family has always done. Nobody questions it. Meanwhile, when people come to my house and taste my soups, they totally light up and they always say, "Oh, this is amazing. Can I have the recipe?" Because my soup imprint changed, my experience of soup also changed, and everyone who comes into my world gets to experience something new too. That's what an imprint is. It's the definition you unconsciously inherited. My nervous system thought that soup meant canned beef, peas and beans, and dread. In the same way, many of us have default relationship imprints, the unspoken patterns we learned about love, safety, conflict, connection, and we learned all that in childhood. Maybe in your house, love meant walking on eggshells, or maybe it meant yelling and apologizing later, or maybe it meant keeping quiet to keep the peace. Here's the thing. Unless we update those old imprints, we just keep running them over and over again, even if it doesn't feel good. But here's the good news. We can consciously create a designed relationship blueprint. Designed relationships have clear agreements, healthy boundaries, open communication, repair practices, and honors desire for both people. When we learn these new relationship ingredients, we get to create something that actually feels nourishing and fulfilling. Here are some common examples of old default relationship imprints that clients come to me with all the time. Love means sacrificing my needs to keep everyone else happy. Conflict means screaming, shutting down, or pretending nothing happened. Desire is selfish, so I suppress it. Boundaries mean rejection, so I avoid them. Does any of that sound familiar? So here are some examples of new designed imprints that we can learn to replace the old ones with. Love means honoring my needs and yours. Conflict can be a doorway to deeper intimacy if we know how to repair. Desire is sacred. It points to what makes us feel alive. Boundaries are bridges that keep our relationships connected and safe. Just like there are endless varieties of soup, creamy, spicy, hearty, delicate, there are endless ways to experience love and connection. But we have to be willing to step into a new kitchen, taste new flavors, and let ourselves be re-imprinted with something healthier, more nourishing, and more beautiful. So here's my invitation. Start by bringing awareness to your relationships. Ask yourself, if I had to rate my closest relationships, how good do they feel? Are they mostly happy, supportive, and peaceful, or do they feel stressful, manipulative, chaotic, or draining? Do I feel free to be my full self in my relationships? Do I ever wish my relationships could feel different, more loving, more connected, more intimate, or more fulfilling? If you notice that you're living with a default relationship imprint, that's actually a good thing. Awareness is the first step. And just like I did with soup, you can re-imprint and create designed relationships that truly delight and nourish you. I would love to hear from you. What did you discover when you asked yourself these questions? Drop a comment and tell me what you discovered about your own imprints. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and follow for more conversations about how to consciously design all of your relationships, not just your romantic ones. See you next time.